What a great Sunday evening in December here, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, I've got to play a little bit of a different riff in the intro tonight. This is the Jacobson Report with John Jacobson, our engineer, Sean Torres, Coach Patrick J. Knapp Jr., the legend, the Georgetown legend, here with our Sunday night sports review, sponsored by Jim and Cindy Jandron from Midwest Renewable Energy, LLC. Renewable fuel energy, ethanol for strong America, lean, clean, and green, and Life Runners, liferunners.org. Go to that website, get your t-shirt, run and walk for life, building a culture of life, helping moms, expectant moms, and their babies along the way, both before and after birth. You're listening to us on KOFO 1220 1037 and streaming live on KOFO.com, plus this podcast, as we are caroming here, arcing toward Christmas into Johnson, Douglas, Franklin, Lynn, Anderson, Miami counties, Osage counties, to the capital of Topeka, as well as Rock Chalk Jayhawk land up there in Lawrence, Baldwin City, home of Baker, the KC suburb of Olathe, Wellsville, here in Ottawa, plus Osage, Osawatomie, Princeton, Paola, Garnett, Gardner, Linden, Richmond, and you just heard that great Big Ten anthem, the Indiana fight song. Coach, we're going to lead off everybody in Kansas. It was a cold night last night. Now, some are watching the K-State women's volleyball team in a valiant effort to upset the Nebraska Huskers. Women's volleyball #1 team in Lincoln. Didn't quite happen. The Huskers swept, but all three sets were competitive, but all eyes were on college football. There's so much to talk about, including a coaching change here at K-State. But, Coach, the conference championships, the big games last night, let's review. Over to you.
Yeah, John, it was a great day. The biggest games, the best games were the night games.
Oh, they were. They were awesome.
Ohio State, and, of course, Duke throwing a wrinkle into the whole thing, beating Virginia, and essentially putting the ACC at risk to get into the playoff, but they eventually did. So Duke beat Virginia in overtime. A big pass interference call there at the very end put Virginia in trouble as they went to, go for their part of the overtime.
Yes.
One possession, then the other. But the Indiana-Ohio State game had all the eyeballs, and Indiana and Kirk Cignetti obviously have shown they belong. They're the #1 team in the CFP. And do you want me to go through this final ranking, John?
Absolutely, Coach. It's the wide world of Patrick J. Knapp here and our engineer, Sean Torres. You hear the wonderful wafting themes of wide world of sports here in the background. Coach, take it away.
Yeah, and I'm sure that both you and Sean will have some comments, particularly on Notre Dame. But Indiana
we're
#1.
We're just waiting for you to tee that up, Coach. Go ahead here.
Indiana #1, OSU 2, Georgia 3, Texas Tech 4. They're the top 4 teams in the country. Oregon 5, Ole Miss 6, Texas A&M 7, 8 Oklahoma, 9 Alabama, 10 Miami. That was the sticking point.
Yes, it was.
Would Miami get in over Notre Dame? And they did. And very honestly, it's extremely simple. Miami beat Notre Dame head-to-head.
They did.
It shouldn't even be a controversy.
They did. That's what the talk was last night, obviously.
The controversy is Tulane 11 and JMU, James Madison 12, and all the bigwigs, Saban, Herb Street, all the other bigwigs on the ESPN dais are talking about how the little guy can get 2 teams in, and there are teams like BYU, Vanderbilt, and Texas sitting out. Well, the reason Tulane and JMU are in is because of the CFP's rules, period. And that is that the top 5 highest-rated conference champions, highest-rated meaning the top 25,
right,
by the AP or by the CFP, whatever the ranking is,
right,
they get in.
Exactly.
So
that's the
Indiana.
rules. That's the way it's set up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's Indiana, it's Georgia, it's Texas Tech, and then bingo, it's Tulane and JMU, because the highest rated ACC champion was not going to be Duke or Virginia. It was not.
Yeah,
so
that's the rules. That's the objective, and it's objective criteria. You got to give them that.
And they got to, and then it came down to Miami, Notre Dame, as we talked about, and the head-to-head said it all. And I think it does not bode well, John, for Notre Dame's future as an independent.
I agree. They got to join a conference. They've got to join a conference, because these other big conference foes are going to get wise, Coach. They're going to say, hey, let's just not play Notre Dame. There's no advantage for us to allow them to rack up the strength of schedule points, So I think you're right. I think between you and me, I think Notre Dame's got to cut a deal with the Big Ten.
Or somebody. I think the Big Ten would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Because the ACC, according to our sources, Scotty, the ACC is going to be poached here very soon.
Yeah.
There are a lot of fixes that this college football playoff committee need to have. There's a lot of debate about how each conference chooses its first and second place teams based on a tiebreaker, which is key. Then you've got this rule we just talked about, the 5 top highly rated conference teams getting in.
And Coach, what about these conference championships, like, what happened to Alabama against Georgia? Does that do any good to have a conference championship? Even Indiana, Ohio State, both are undefeated. Why play that game? They're both going to go in.
Yep. No, absolutely. That's the other thing that the ESPN Deus was talking about tiebreakers, talking about the rankings of the top 5, and talking about, is there a need for a conference championship?
Coach, how about just simplifying it? Add 4 teams, make it a 16-game tournament, forget the bye, and just roll with 16. That really ends the argument about these peripheral teams this year, at least, doesn't it?
Well, I think it's going to go that way, because more games equal more TV dollars. I believe it will go that way, but I believe that the group of 5, whether it be the American Conference, whether it be Conference USA, Mountain West, you name it, I think they have to have their own tournament.
Yeah.
I think they have to have their own CFP, because Tulane and JMU, we're going to find out whether they can beat Oregon and Ole Miss. Tulane may have a better case against Ole Miss, minus the brain power of Lane Kiffin, but Tulane and JMU can't beat the top 6, 7 teams in this thing. They can't beat them.
Yeah, it's so great. I'll tell you, it was great TV last night. That interview was very winsome by Fernando Mendoza. He's a great story. His family were Cuban-American exiles. They're very great American patriots. Catholic family. His father's a physician. His mom suffers from MS. He went to great Catholic high school there in Florida. He is a born leader. The work ethic is tremendous, both he and his favorite receiver. It seems like they got a good vibe on that team. And talk about Mendoza, but also talk about Coach Cignetti. He is an amazing person, and I mean, all the money in Michigan State couldn't snare him away from Indiana. Your thoughts on Coach Curt Cignetti and on Fernando Mendoza? And is Mendoza a shoo-in for the Heisman, Coach? Those first 2 questions, Mendoza and Cignetti. And I'm going to ask you to handicap the playoffs as we head into this now. Take it away again, Coach.
Well, I believe Mendoza is the front runner for the Heisman right now. Julian Sayin did not have a great day. He's the other player. I believe Diego Pombias should be in New York. He probably had the most electric year of all of the Heisman candidates. And the running back love for Notre Dame, I believe, will be in New York, but not win it. So I would say Mendoza is the front runner. Curt Cignetti.
Oh, wait, Coach, can I just interrupt for a moment?
Yeah.
So as a young boy, circa 1972, 73, with those classic Cotton Bowl matchups for the national title in consecutive years between Darrell Royal's Texas Longhorns with his wishbone O and Ara Parsegan and the Fighting Irish. It was quarterback Joe Theismann forever until he became a senior, and then he changed the pronunciation of his name to Theismann, as in Heisman. That was a pretty good chant they had going up in Indy last night. Heisman-Doza. Did you hear them chanting that? Heisman-Doza over and over?
I think on game day a few weeks ago, I saw a T-shirt with that. So, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And now we go from the Cuban to the Italian-American. Signetti, go, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, he has toiled in the small college ranks all his life before he went to JMU. He told everybody he'd be very happy to retire at JMU. They were positioning themselves not only to win their conference every year, but get into this playoff, just like Bob Chesney's doing this year with James Madison. But he took the Indiana job. He was like, I guess, 61. You know, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it now. And he told everybody, I mean, in a very stark and very bland fashion, Google me, I win, okay? That's his thing.
Yep.
And that's what he's done. He talks about bringing in character kids. I think all coaches look to bring in character kids. You got to have some type of NFL talent on your team to win the Big Ten and go whatever 27-1 or 2 over the last 2 years. So the guy can recruit. Indiana is giving him the money. John, we would have never thought this growing up in the Bobby Knight era, but Indiana is now a football school.
It's amazing, and I would say it rivals any of the great turnarounds in college football history. I would say Bill Snyder's turnaround of K-State in a couple of years was impressive, and his mentor Hayden Fry. Hayden Fry taking an Iowa team that had not had a winning season in 20 years, and in his third year going the Rose Bowl, winning the Big Ten. That was an incredible turnaround. But you know, Coach, what's great about being old like me is they were saying last night, this is Indiana's first win of the Big Ten championship since 1967, almost 60 years ago. And I said to my wife, oh, I remember that. John Pont was coaching Indiana in 67.
Well, when was Lee Corso there, John? Because he had a good run. I don't think he won the Big Ten, though.
No, he did. He was there in the 70s also. Yeah, he was there in the 70s. And then I think after Corso left, I think Sam Weich coached there for a while. So 70s and 80s during the Fry era, it was Corso. Corso was such a character, even going back then. He had a coaches show back in the era pre-cable when all the coaches had shows on the local network affiliates for extra money. And Lee Corso once opened his show like a Friday night creature feature on the coaches show. He was laying in a coffin with his eyes closed. And as the camera beginning of the show, he arose from the coffin and said, I'm not dead yet, neither are the Indiana Hoosiers. So, you know, he had quite a colorful personality going back even in the 1970s. And I think it's great for the Big Ten. And Signetti's he's got a presence. Even the desk last night, he kind of had the upper hand with all five of those guys at the desk during that interview, Coach. He can be a little intimidating.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But, you know, it's going to be, John, Indiana's going to have its hands full in all of these games. There's going to be an upset somewhere along the line.
Absolutely.
I think Ohio State's going to be in the final.
Yep.
No matter what. Yep. That's a prediction I'll make right now. Yep. And after that, it's a scramble.
Who's your dark horse? Do you have someone that really could? I mean, what about these East Coast teams that slipped in? Could they make waves?
My answer is no.
Yeah.
I think that Texas A&M and Oregon I would watch closely. And probably A&M more than Oregon. They're a little bit older, stronger defensively, and if the bracket holds up, I believe they'd play Ohio State in one of the games. I guess it would be Ohio State's first game. A&M will play Miami early on. I think they'll beat them. So I would say A&M or Oregon would be my dark horse.
There you go. And the coaching carousel, boy, you know, as much as I've augured for my alma mater to make a change after Kirk Ferentz's long tenure, I'm glad he's staying now, because what good coaches are left in this competitive coaching carousel with these multi-million-dollar contracts out there? Let's go to the Big 12. I believe that K-State and Iowa State under athletic director Jamie Pollard made two really good hires in very quick circumstances that they'll be well acquitted for these good hires both at K-State and at Iowa State. Tell me I'm wrong, Coach.
Well, Colin Klein is an outstanding hire, obviously a favorite son. He was a Heisman finalist. He's in their Ring of Honor. He won the Unitas Award while he played there at quarterback. He's the Texas A&M offensive coordinator right now. He will stay there throughout the playoff, and that's one of the reasons why, besides the tumult with recruiting and transfer situations, it's one of the reasons why Kansas State decided not to play in a bowl game.
Exactly.
And they got $500,000 by the Big 12. I didn't know that was one of their rules. That's rather interesting.
Yeah.
If that's not in the rule book, then that's a very quick slap on the wrist by the commissioner.
Yep.
If it is in the rule book, then the players seem to me owe the university some money.
I agree. I agree with you. Totally agree. Totally agree.
Now, the Iowa State coach, John, why don't you fill me in on that? I don't have his name, the new coach.
Yeah, well, let's just take it back here for a second. You know, we've got friends, Coach Knapp, that are Iowa State fans, and the running joke has been that every single time there's a job opening, they've said Matt Campbell's leaving. Well, it's almost unbelievable to think that Matt Campbell is finally gone. But, you know, this Jimmy Rogers is just a tremendous coach. He has been at South Dakota State University and has done just an extremely good job. He's most famous now for being the Washington State head football coach. And he has been very successful, although there for a very short period of time, very successful there. And of course, in his first campaign, 6-6, turned them around immediately. And before that, had a lot of success at the FCS level, particularly as a former linebacker at South Dakota State. So, you know, he took the Jackrabbits to the national title in the FCS in 2022. So Jamie Pollard, this just proves Pollard. I mean, South Dakota State went 15-0 and repeated as national champ under Rogers in 2023. They went 12-3 in 2024 and returned to the FCS Final Four this year at Washington State, bringing them to 500 and bowl eligible right out of the gate. And this says to me that Pollard knew he'd lose Campbell at some point, already had his backup, ready to roll. And I think same thing at K-State. They were ready to roll, and I, with other teams flailing, I mean, it took Penn State how many whacks at the apple to find their coach?
Yeah, I think Klein was an obvious.
Yeah.
Both ADs had their Rolodexes ready.
Yep.
They knew if they lost their coach. Although I'm not sure the AD at Kansas State thought Kleiman was going to retire.
I think you're right. Based on his emotional response, I think he was somewhat surprised. Not caught off guard, but somewhat surprised.
And the AD was a bit, not a bit. I think he was very understanding of the circumstances of the day and how the game has changed.
Yes.
And how people were giving Kleiman crap.
Yep.
And basically said, look, this is a good man.
Yep.
You can't be driving people like this out of the game.
Right.
But it is a new day in college football.
It is.
NIL and transfer portal rule the day.
Coach, you're the basketball expert, and I've got to say I was watching ESPN Plus last night, watching volleyball, Huskers versus the Wildcat women, who put up a valiant effort there in Lincoln. Huskers look unstoppable right now, but there were a few creases in the armor last night, so there might be some folks that can make a move on the Huskers. Rebecca Alec and, of course, Harper Murray carrying the day for the Huskers. But, Coach, let's real quickly tease out, are our Chiefs shut out of the playoffs? Are they the Dallas Cowboys of the AFC? You know, the Cowboys could win out and still miss the playoffs. Are 500 teams that are good 500 teams, because they both end up getting shut out, the Chiefs and the Cowboys? Coach?
Now, I don't think the Chiefs are out of it yet. They're certainly they're playing a game tonight against Houston, who's 7-5, Chiefs 6-6. Obviously, winner of that gets a leg up in the wild card race. Right now in the AFC, New England's 1, Denver 2, Jacksonville 3, Baltimore 4, although the Steelers are beating Baltimore today, so that would put the Steelers in charge of that division.
After a long slide, they've lost 4 of their last 5 or something along those lines. They've had a tough skid.
Yeah, they haven't been scoring anything. People have been calling for like Tomlin said. Then the LA Chargers are 8-4. They're a wild card team right now. Indianapolis is 8-4, but they're losing today, and they lost Daniel Jones to a leg injury. So their backup quarterback is playing. They could be at risk. Buffalo was losing to Cincinnati the last time I looked. So other than the Chargers, who I do hope lose to the Eagles Monday night, we'll wait and see.
Yep.
But Indy and Buffalo could be on slides. Kansas City's not out of the wild card hunt at all.
Wow, there you have it. Hey, by the way, Coach, we want to plug your podcast with Jerry Bissone, talk about where we can hear you, and then we'll have you take a quick tour of Hoops is underway at the collegiate level. But, Coach, how do we catch play-by-play?
Play-by-play on Spotify, YouTube, iHeart, anywhere you get your podcast. Jerry Bissone, my partner, and me, we're doing a lot of college sports these days, but we have some very intriguing guests coming up. Some women's basketball Hall of Famers from the East Coast.
Awesome.
We need to confirm them still, but we will have these super women from San Diego. And if you're on Facebook, look up the super women and look at their interesting and funny hacks, as they call them, advice to men and women out. It's going to be a fun episode.
Excellent.
We should be doing that one next week.
Fantastic. All right, Coach, college hoops underway. The Kansas Jayhawks are playing ball, and let's talk about college hoops.
Well, since you did mention Kansas going in today's game against Missouri, the last time I looked, they were up 20 against them. That would make KU 7-3. I did watch the UConn game at length. UConn really tied them up defensively.
Yeah.
You know, KU has lost to Duke, UConn, and UNC.
Yep.
And I believe in every one of those games, Darren Peterson, their top recruit, did not play.
Interesting.
When they get him back, the only 2 games he's played, he's averaged 21 points.
Yep.
Today, he was averaging 15 at a certain point in the second half. So they need him back. Those losses to Duke, UConn, and UNC will not hurt them. They are in, John. Kansas and Kansas State arguably are in the best conference in the country for college basketball.
Yep.
Iowa State just beat Purdue.
Yes.
They're
huge.
undefeated.
Yes.
Colorado 8-0. Colorado may have lost yesterday to Colorado State, so I have to take that back, 8-1. Oklahoma State undefeated, Arizona undefeated, BYU 7-1, Houston 7-1. They have numerous teams in the top 25. Kansas and Kansas State will have their hands full, without a doubt. Now you have K-State, and boy, I was singing their praises when they were 5-1.
You were.
They're now 5-4.
Yeah. Coach
Tang went off after their loss to Bowling Green a few days back, 82-66. He basically said, we gave a poor effort, we played poor defense, we didn't deserve to wear a Wildcat uniform, we want to apologize to our fans. Well, you know where that got them? They lost to Seton Hall last night, 78-67.
Ouch.
And Seton Hall got 22 points off turnovers. The Pirates are top 15 in the country in 4 defensive categories.
Wow.
The turnover difference was 22-7 points after turnovers.
Wow.
Seton Hall winning that one.
That's the
and
difference
K-State,
there.
John, missed 20 free throws.
Unbelievable.
At home.
Wow, that's giving it away. The turnover points and missing the free throws. That's the game right there.
So Jayhawks on the upswing. Looks like they beat Missouri today. And K-State on the downswing. And what I get out of that, since I'm a Big East guy from the East Coast, is everybody's talking about UConn and St. John's being the top 2 teams in the Big East. And just a bunch of also-rans. I think Seton Hall, who had a great Maui Invitational, and this win on the road at K-State, I think Seton Hall might be the number 3 team in the Big East.
Wow, there you go. And not Creighton.
No, not Creighton. Not Creighton.
Guys, this has been an awesome tour de force with Coach Pat Knapp. And guys, he also does basketball color commentary for New Mexico State University and on ESPN networks. You can find him here later this month. Catch his play-by-play podcast found everywhere where you've got a podcast portal. Is play-by-play with Knapp and Busson. Coach, always great to have you on. It'll be even more exciting next week as we continue to arc toward NFL and college football champions.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of big playoff games in the NFL for wild card. College football playoff will be in full swing, and maybe we'll zip through the Big 12 and the Big 10 women's hoops a little bit, John.
Yes, next week a focus on women's hoops. I've been watching a lot of women's hoops. We just had your interview with Hunter Bondurant on for a second encore, Coach, by popular demand. We've aired it 3 times here. That probably will go into the Kansas Association of Broadcasters nomination for Best Feature Interview. Congratulations, Coach.
Well, that was a fun interview. It's always great to exchange ideas about culture and strategy, and I'm glad everybody liked it.
They did, Coach. Guys, John Jacobson here on Sunday night. Stay tuned for the rest of our lineup with Sean Torres, Coach Patrick J. Knapp Jr. Hey, everybody, as we arc toward Christmas, be safe, be smart, be good, be strong. Love Jesus Christ. God bless us, everyone, and thanks to our sponsors, Jim and Cindy Jandron at Midwest Renewable Energy, LLC, and at Life Runners. Go to liferunners.org, get your T-shirt to run and walk for life, and help those expectant mothers and their babies both before and after birth. Till we meet again, grab the podcast. Bye-bye.